What's going on, YouTube? It's your boy Seth the Lawn Surgeon, and you already guessed it. Another edition of Tipsy Talk. I'm kind of offended right now. My neighbor called a lawn care company out. I guess they're aerating his yard, but got a lawn care company right next door to you and call somebody else. But hey, that's how it goes. Anyways, apparently my last Tipsy Talk didn't bore y'all to death. Got some people that actually told me that, hey, we like those long talking videos, we need some more. So guess what? Got another one. I'll try to keep this one not too long, but today I'm sipping on I kind of like ran out of stuff, so kind of a mixture. It's like some pomegranate syrup, some orange juice, and some gin, Seagram's. It actually tastes pretty good. It tastes like a cruise ship drink or something. But anyways, back to the video. Pricing, knowing your value. That's what I wanted to talk about. My door is shutting. Didn't change the lighting, so that's good. Yeah, knowing your value. Knowing your value. When I say that, that means knowing your rate per hour. Now, a lot of people always ask me, oh, how much did you charge for this? How much did you charge for that? What you have to do when you make your company is you have to make a rate per hour. And that rate per hour is the value of your company. And what I mean by that is that you shouldn't charge too much if you have some, beginner shabby equipment, and then once you get more professional, you should charge a lot. I've known people to charge as low as $25 per hour, and then I've heard some people that charge $65 per hour. Me, I charge $30 per hour. I think that's a reasonable rate. I feel like you don't want to go too high per hour, because when you tell somebody per hour, then it kind of scares them off sometimes. So like if somebody asks you, I want you to till this, I want you to dig up that, and in your mind you're like, how do I calculate that? All you gotta do is say, hey, I charge $30 an hour. So it's $30 an hour for the work and the labor, and then anything I gotta haul away, then that's whatever price. Give a background about me and how I started off. My first cut ever, I charged people, I charged the lady $30 for the whole cut. And that was one of my first mistakes, because I looked at her front yard, I saw her front yard needed to be cut, put a flyer in her mailbox for $30 to cut her yard. And so she called me and she said, oh, have you seen the backyard? And I was like, no. And she said, oh, well, let me know if it's still $30. So I went in the backyard, and it was like a steep hill straight up. And all I had at the time was a push mower. I had a regular push mower, and and so I just stuck with that price. That's one thing I do. If I quote you a price, I'll stick with that price that time. But I'll let you know, hey, I usually don't charge this price, but since I quoted you this price, I will keep the rate at this price. So that's what I did. I cut that yard and that steep hill for $30. That was my first job. From that point on, that my first year, my rate was kind of, I don't really know what my rate was, but I was kind of charging people between $30 and $35 a cut. My second lesson I learned was this one yard. I charged him $35. And the way that I got the yard, I was walking around through this neighborhood. It was a decent neighborhood, like a middle class neighborhood. And I saw this guy. He was getting out of his car. I handed him a flyer. And I said, hey, I cut yard. I have a lawn care business. I could cut your yard for $35. He was like, $35? I was like, yeah, $35. And he said, okay, So I didn't know why he was so excited, but I later found out, he was excited because, like, when you looked at his yard, I'm going to see if I can find a picture of it. I'm going to put it up right here. When you looked at his yard, right, it didn't look that deep, right? But as soon as I started pushing through that bad boy, and remind you, I had like a regular yard man push mower. Soon as I started pushing through that bad boy, it was a hassle. My lawnmower kept clogging up. It kept cutting off. But I charged them $35, so I had to stick with it. So that's one thing. If you charge somebody a rate, even if it's undercutting yourself, stick with that rate, because that person will respect you. They might never call you back because they know they hustled you, but it gives your company some respect. You know what I mean? Anyways, so that was my first year. I was charging between $30 and $35 average price. Now they're starting up the lawnmower. I don't know what they're cutting. Whatever. He's just moving. Anywho, yeah, that was my first year, $30 to $35. My second year, I was charging between $35 to $40. I moved up a little bit. I guess my rate per hour, probably you could say, was about $25 per hour. My third year, that's when I came to my present rate of $30 per hour. And I like it. It's a nice, comfortable rate. It's not too expensive for the customer, and I still get paid a decent amount. I'm going to tell you 3 different situations how to apply that $30 per hour. The first situation is cutting grass. My average price for a yard is $45, right? The way I get this is for $30 an hour for my time of cutting the grass, right? That's $35. Somebody had told me, like I said, I don't call them mentors, but I have people who have lawn care businesses. He told me, I don't even come out for $30 for any less than $30. If you're not gonna pay me $30, then I'm not coming to your house. That's what he told me. So I'm like, that's reasonable. You gotta think about it. You gotta load up equipment, come out to somebody's house. You at least gotta charge them $30. So I charge $30 for the hours of cutting. Charge them $10 for trimming and or getting rid of weeds. If I have to pull some weeds from the sidewalk, spray them or whatever, that's $10. And then $5 for gas for me to drive out there. That's reasonable. So that's what my rate for $45 is. That's how I see it in my mind. So that's cutting. And like, if, and that rate, I start at $45. When I go into somebody's house, you have to have a rate in your mind. You know what I mean? Because if you don't have a rate in your mind, then you'll go there and you'll give them a price, and then you'll leave and you realize, dang, I could have got more money, or I should have charged them more. But if you go to that house and all right, my base rate is $45, and you get there and you realize this yard's smaller than I thought. I'll do it for 40. You know what I mean? You can lower the price how you feel. Or if you get there, you be like, this yard got a lot of trimming to do. 50 or 55. You know what I mean? But 45, you got to have that base price based off of your company value. You know what I mean? Second situation to use that is in hedges or something like that. A lot of I used to overcharge like crazy for hedges because I didn't realize that I used to charge like per hedge, like per bush. Like somebody says, I got 5 bushes to cut. I said, oh, it was $5 per bush, And so what happened is, if it was $5 per bush, that's like $25. So I guess that's reasonable, $25 per bush. But then when I get to somebody's house that's like 10 bushes, and you charge them $5 per bush, $5, that's $50. And it will only take me like 20-30 minutes to do because all the bushes were like right lined up. You know what I mean? So it's kind of overcharging them. So I started telling people, hey, I charge $30 per hour. But once you get a little bit of experience, then you don't even have to tell them you charge $35 per hour. You just have to look and you be like, all right, well, it's going to take me 15 minutes to hedge the bushes, 15 minutes to clean it up. That's 30 minutes. And I'll probably leave it here in 45 minutes. That's about an hour. So you charge them $30. And so that's how I do it. The third thing, oh my God, I forgot. Third thing with the $30 per hour. I guess it's probably just general usage. Like, just general. If somebody calls you and they want you to do a whole bunch of different random stuff. Oh, I want you to weed these weeds over here in this corner. I want you to get these leaves up. I want you to, till this up. And there's a whole bunch of random stuff, just like regular gardeners type stuff. Say, hey, I charge $30 an hour. And then that way, when you get there, you look and see what time it is, and you start working, I try not to take too many breaks. I might take like a 2-minute break, 5-minute break, drink some Gatorade, and I'll right back in it. I don't want them to see me laid up, sipping, spilling stuff all over my mouth like that. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, I don't want to see people see me chilling and stuff, but you gotta take a break. You don't want to dehydrate. But yeah, that's that. All right. Oh, we got 13 minutes, bro. All right. Let me quickly get into what was it I wanted to get into? Oh yeah, handing out flyers. All right. So when I first started out, my first year, when I would hand out flyers, right? Because I see a lot of people having flyers and they're handing out flyers. When I was handing out flyers my first year, I was just handing out to everybody. You know what I mean? You just go around to every house, you knock on every door, whatever. I don't really knock on doors. I'm not really a talkative person, but I'd rather just put the flyer in your, on your mailbox or whatever. But anyway, I would just put it on everybody's mailbox. But then I realized, I'm probably like wasting my time putting flyers on every single mailbox. So then my second year, I start spot handing out my flyers. Which that means is I wouldn't hand out a flyer unless the yard looks shabby. You get what I'm saying? If the yard looks shabby, it had tall grass, then I would have, then that's my first red flag. My second thing is you got to look and see what type of car is in the yard. And so say you got tall grass, but the yard has a pickup truck in there. Most likely it's a guy that lives there. And if it's a guy that lives there, the guy's not gonna pay another guy to cut his grass. You know what I mean? So yeah. So he's not gonna pay another guy to cut his grass. So I skipped that house. And if you see like a big truck, like an Expedition, that's kind of tricky. Because sometimes it's a guy that's driving that big truck, that big SUV, but other times it might be a lady driving it and she might have a lot of kids. So you never know. But if it's a mom van or old lady Malibu or something like, like an old person car, tall grass, old person car, mom car, put the flyer in the mailbox. The third thing to look for is the type of grass. Now you might see, alright, say you see a car, say you see tall grass, right? You see a mom car, but the tall grass is very nice. It's fertilized, there's no weeds in the yard, but it's just tall. So you're like, hey, they need me to cut their grass. Not necessarily, because sometimes it might be that the person takes care of the yard, whether it's a lady or a man, but they might have a busy job. And by you putting out the flyer, all that really does is it makes them realize, oh wow, I guess my grass is tall. Maybe I need to cut it. So you just help them out. You know what I mean? Because the grass is already nice. They pay attention to it. But the yards has got weeds everywhere. That's when you want to give them a flyer, because they don't care. And they're happy to have anybody come out and knock it down. You know what I mean? But that's how I hand out flyers. Like I said, this year I've been emailing back and forth with my friend. He has a sign business, and he's gonna try to wrap my van, hopefully. So once I get email back from him, hopefully that'll happen. But yeah, once again, hope I didn't bore y'all to death. I'm actually about to get to work on this workbench. I haven't even cracked open my freaking skill saw, but I'm gonna get to work on it. It's gonna be about 3 foot high, 5.5 foot long. So, and it's gonna have 3 legs or stilts or whatever. And so, yeah, get to work on that. And I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, stay tuned. Yes, sir.